Hello. Okay, so you're not Janet.
No. I'm not.
Okay, so I got Andrea with us today, guys. Say hello, Andrea.
Hi. Hello.
Okay. Um, guys, I'm here with Andrea. She's actually one of my amazing sisters here at House Arrest Modesto. And I was out last week because we were in Texas, guys. So we weren't able to, be here to bring anything to you guys. So, and I really missed Janet. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Blessed.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, it's awesome. So today I just really want to have a chat, but I want to actually share about Texas. Texas was really, really awesome.
It looked awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Not only did, I went ready to receive, because every single time that I go, we go wanting to receive, but we went into a prison as well. And I think that was just amazing. Just being able to just minister, and just being able to see all the gentlemen that were in there. There was about 200 prisoners. And for me, it has a special place in my heart because of my brother. Yep. And he has 2 more years to go on a 25-year sentence. And the closer it gets, I get so excited because I know that we're going to get to see him soon. And as I was able to just look at the men down there, I got emotional. I got really, really emotional because we haven't touched him. We haven't hugged him. We haven't had a chance to really physically see him because they've moved him throughout so many states,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been so financially hard for all of us as a family to even see him. And but just to be able to speak life into these men was just amazing. And then our brothers and our sisters here, like Alex and Veronica, Johnny, Diana, and just David and everybody, just to be able to see them share their stories with them and for them to light up. It was amazing, sis. I can't wait for you to go.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it really was. And then on the other hand, I got to be able to share one-on-one with some amazing leaders, women, who are our leaders under Grace International, and to be able to sit with them and to be poured into. And that's something that I don't always get a chance to do, because the one thing that I've always wanted to do is like, Lord, I need somebody to pour into me, because what I get poured into, I want to be able to pour into the women here. And that's something that I want to look forward to. And there's some women who are leaders who are local to us here, and I want to continue that pouring so that way I can be able to grow and learn. So I'm really looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an exciting and busy week.
Hectic, yes.
Yeah.
It was hectic.
Yeah. And then I remember texting you and I'm like, hello, am I chopped liver here?
I called you right away.
I know. I'm like, hello, I haven't heard from you. Like, what's going on? I hear like one-word sentences from you. And
No, because you were busy and I knew you were going to be busy, so I didn't want to. Everything was taken care of.
I was like,
here.
whatever.
No, everything was taken care of over here, so I didn't want to bug you. I didn't want to. I was like, I'm just going to give her time. She never gets time for herself, so
I was like,
I just
yeah,
wanted to give you
okay,
time.
Andrea.
No, not even.
Like, ugh. I was like, oh. But it was nice to hear from you, because I really got homesick towards the last 2 days, and I'm like, I'm homesick. I wanted to come home at the same time, but I was like, I miss everybody here at home. I really, really did.
We definitely missed you guys. Your presence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's just nothing like home.
Mm-mm.
There's
It's nice
nothing
to get
like
away,
home.
but when you get back, you're just like, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of.
yeah, I think so. I think so. So, I know a lot of people don't know you, you know, and but I think they should know you because you're very special, by the way. Um, but I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well,
Where'd you come from?
I came from the Bay Area.
Okay.
I actually live in Merced. So I was attending a church in Milpitas, and I was there for a couple years during the whole COVID. So I just kind of stayed there. But I started to feel like I wasn't getting spiritually fed, and there wasn't any serving like here they're serving. There wasn't anything like that over there. So I just had more of a desire. I was missing something in my walk, even though I was attending church and I was doing Bible studies online. I was still missing something. I wasn't growing like I was desiring to grow, and I had no fellowship. I mean, I had fellowship with the sisters there at the church, but because they were in the Bay Area, it was hard for me to just get away during the week. So prior to meeting you guys, I remember just being on my couch, sitting at home on the weekends, and I would literally not do anything. I would just be home, and then Sunday came around, I would go to church. But I just remember many nights, many days just praying and saying, God, why don't I have sisters that I can fellowship with? Why don't I have, like-minded believers over on this side of the hill, where I can go and hang out with, and I can just go be with and just do things with. And, then I came across the YouTube, and I started watching in March of last year. Started watching, and then it was coming up Good Friday service and Resurrection Sunday. So I remember pastor saying, do something different.
I
Come
remember
do
that
something
line.
different. Yeah, that's like the line, right? So I remember him saying, come do something different, And for me, I'm a very like introvert person until you know me. When you know
Yeah.
me, I'm like, but I'm very to myself. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to just go. Because I would never go anywhere by myself. I wouldn't go to like a movie by myself. I wouldn't go have dinner by myself. I'd have to have somebody there. And so I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to do something different. So I come to Good Friday service, and I was like, wow, just everything. And then that's the first night we went to Denny's till like 2 o'clock in the
Two
morning.
o'clock in the morning.
And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I love being out. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could be out in the club 2 o'clock in the morning, why couldn't I do it for the Lord, So I really enjoy the fellowship. And so I would come, be with you here and there. And then,
I think you started off with the food giveaways.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started with the
Yeah.
food giveaways, and then you'd get involved with like little things. And even though you were still attending, you'd come and you'd help with the food giveaways, which I thought was really, really cool because, you just start getting involved with a lot of little things here and there. And I was like, she's coming to help with things, and I'm like, she doesn't even come here. And then I started to see you get involved with even other things. And then you'd be like, I can help you. And I'd be like, that's so weird. Other people aren't even stepping up and you're wanting to help. And I thought that was really cool though. Because for me, I thought that was just amazing. Because, not everybody does that. And I think that's where I got to know you a lot more. And I think there was one day that we had a really heart-to-heart talk. We really did have a heart-to-heart talk one day. And I think that was the conversation where I think the Lord really began to talk to you after that.
Yeah, because I remember I was getting conflicted with the church that I was with. They were there for me during a time of my life where I lost my mom, I left a relationship, I left a house, became temporary homeless, and staying at a friend's house, and just was going through a lot of things at that time in 2021. And I just remember being really conflicted. I was like, I really enjoy the house arrest. I really enjoy hanging out with the fellowship, the sisters, the pastors. Like I really love being there. But I felt like I was being disloyal to my church, you know? And so I remember like talking to like Diana and telling her like, you know, I'm really conflicted. Like and she would tell me like, you need to be faithful to God and not to man. And that's where it started clicking. Somebody else told me that. And I was like, okay. And then I finally, in September of last year, was like, okay, this is going to be my home church. And I haven't left since.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it too. You know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful because it wasn't us. You know, I think it was the Lord that had to speak to your heart.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times, we have to seek God. You know, we can't allow man to make those decisions for us, because I think a lot of the times we can be conflicted. We can be a lot of the times, and a lot of the times we're constantly, nowadays, I think a lot of people get conflicted and they go seek answers on social media.
Yeah.
You know, they begin to seek answers, they seek answers in man. They seek answers in their spouses. It's like, oh, it's whatever my husband wants, whatever my wife wants, it's whatever the family wants, it's whatever social media says, and they're like, hey, they put a post on
Yeah.
on what the answers of what people say, and or whatever their job dictates.
Yeah.
Sometimes even their job will dictate something, and not realizing that sometimes the reason why they have that job, it's because the Lord gave it to them in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the times, it's so easy for the world, the things of the world, to dictate the direction that we're going in life. And ultimately, it's the Lord that we have to seek. We have to seek out the Lord and be like, Lord, and quiet ourselves and be like, Lord, which way do you want me to go? And there's decisions that we have to seek God on and be like, Lord, which way do you want me to go? Let me surrender it to you. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Because it's not my plan. It's your plan, and I think that, I remember, yesterday I was talking to a beautiful sister, and it was just, a small little situation where, I think sometimes we tend to think like, Lord, it's hard for us to put our full trust and faith in the Lord. And it's not because we don't love him. It's because sometimes we're afraid of the things that we're just afraid sometimes, like, am I going to be able to make it? Am I going to be able? And we were both I was a single mom, and you're a single mom now.
Yep.
And for a very long time I was a single mom, and I was afraid because I was, am I going to be able to provide for my kids? Am I going to be able to do this? Lord, this is hard. And I think that I lived that way for a long time, and it's a scary place to be sometimes.
It is.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
And, I remember that, it's just the fear of the unknown, knowing that what's tomorrow going to bring. But I think that at the same time, have you ever seen that meme? There's a meme where Jesus is holding a big teddy bear behind his back, and there's a little girl who has a little teddy bear, and it's a little teddy bear, and she doesn't want to let it go, and he's holding it, and he's saying, let me have the little one because I have a bigger one to give you.
Bigger things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that teddy bear, it was crazy because, when literally a few days before I met David, I remember that I had seen that meme, and it was crazy because I know I'm referring to him as a big teddy bear. It was weird because, I just see him as my big teddy bear. But anyways, I felt like the Lord was trying to tell me, I have something bigger for you, because all my life it's like I had I had settled for things that hurt me, for things and people that all they did was hurt me, and I never felt worthy enough for anything good. I didn't know what it was for a man to truly love me with the love of Christ. I didn't know what that was like. You know, and I was just always settling and settling and settling, and God wanted to give me something better, but I didn't know how to let go of what I had. And he wanted to give me something better, and I was so afraid of letting go of what I had that he was like, just let it go so that I can, if you can't let go of what you have in your hands now, how can I give you something better? And I finally had to let it go so that he can give me something better. And when I did let it go, he did give me that bigger teddy bear. And I was able to see that in the spiritual, because when I did let it go, he gave me that. And it was a few days later, because I had had a dream, and it was a few days later that he gave that to me. And I met David. And that was the beginning of the rest of my life. You know, and it was crazy, because it was stepping out in faith and not realizing that, look at what my life would be today. I mean, can you imagine if I wouldn't had?
You could have blocked many blessings by doing that, not
I
letting
wouldn't have
go.
met you. I wouldn't have met so many people. He says no adventure. Guys, he said no adventure off the camera. Oh, it has been an adventure. But my he always says that my life would be boring. Actually, probably would be really, really boring. It really would be. But you know, my life has been just so, it has been stretched, been filled with endurance, has built, given me more character. You know, the hardships has done so much more.
Well, not only that, it's molding you into the woman that God wants you to be,
Yeah.
too. It's molding you into how he wants you to be. So that's very important, too.
And then I began sharing that with you just a little while ago, and then as I was out there, there was things that I didn't even know about you, and I was just blown away.
Yeah, I think for myself, with faith and trusting in the Lord, um, it's hindered a lot in me because I stayed in relationships longer than I should have because of a fear of not being able to make it. And now, where I'm at with my walk in Christ, um, I've just been blessed beyond deserving. I know that. But, when I look at what he's doing in my life by being obedient and by staying close to him, he's made me a homeowner without a man, and so that's just like a blessing in itself, because in our family, we didn't really own homes. So I didn't know anything about it. But, during the time that I was going through with the loss of my mom and the loss of the relationship, I went through just a season where you could experience every kind of disappointment, hurt, joy, sorrow, pain, happiness in a stretch of like 3 months. From May to August, And so, but I know one thing that I did do during that time, especially when my mom died, is I just remained really close to the Lord. And when she passed away, I didn't handle it like most. I was very, not relieved, but I knew that everything was going to be okay. And I had put trust in him. So he definitely answers prayers. He definitely has done a mighty work in my life. But, me and my kids have been through a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was a time when, we didn't have that faith and that trust in him, and we had to go the long way and go through detour and go through obstacle and go through hurdle and go through trouble and hurt, and look where we are today.
How's your oldest?
She'll be 26.
Wow.
My oldest will be 26 in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know mine's going to be 32. That's crazy.
I know. 26, and then my son will be 25, and then I have a almost 22-year-old, and then my little ones. But
it's amazing. It's amazing because we have older kids, and as we're grandparents,
Yeah.
we're grandparents, and I don't think that we can ever. I can't fathom to think that I'd ever be here, and see my life as serving Christ or even being in this position. And I'm just so thankful. Like, I'm so thankful.
I am too because I made a lot of mistakes with my older ones. They
Yeah,
seen
me
a lot,
too.
they heard a lot, they went through a lot, they got dragged around a lot,
Me
with
too.
me and my hurt and my pain. And they're so resilient, but Jesse and Desiree, I wanted something different from them. And I'm so thankful that my eyes, the scales were removed from my eyes, because now, like, I get to walk with Christ, and I get to do my part as their parent by, by serving the Lord and having them come along with me. And it's a blessing because they love the Lord, they know the Lord,
Yeah.
and they love being here.
Yeah.
They never want to leave. They always want to be here.
That's how I feel with Abraham.
They never want to leave. So it's such a blessing because, as a single parent, I'm the one that has to bring them to the Lord. We know it's a man's responsibility, but if they're not getting that, then it's our responsibility as mothers. And I'm very thankful that I have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to, so they know. And I tell them every time, I say, you guys are so lucky, because when I was your age, or even when your siblings were your age, they didn't have this. They didn't have somebody to guide them in the right place, but you guys do, and it's a blessing.
And see, and that's the thing that a lot of the times, women, I think that a lot of the times, sometimes women feel that there has to be a man in the picture in order for them to lead them or guide them in the household, or but the thing is that no, you can take charge. You can make sure that you lead the household, in a godly way.
Yes.
And I think that that is important. You don't have to go searching for a man in order to lead that household. I believe that, I believe that you can lead a household in a godly way and wait upon the Lord. I really, really know that.
Yep.
And I believe that if you are patient, and if you are patient enough, and God knows the desires of your heart, He will bless you with a good man. And that day will come when the Lord will say, you know what, because of your faithfulness, because of the endurance, because of all of, I have seen your heart, and I see you. Like the God that sees me, when Hagar, when she left,
goodness,
He
yes.
saw her, and He saw her heart. And it's like He too will see your heart, and you just got to be faithful, and you just got to hang on there, and hang in, and be able to know that He sees everything. And a lot of the times, I think a lot of the times women feel that they need to go out and they need to go search, and no, you don't. You don't have to go out searching for anything.
It's fulfilling just serving.
It is.
It is fulfilling just serving. Like, I don't complain when I'm here. I don't complain when I'm driving home so late and then getting up to go. Like, I love it. Like, I just love
It is.
Yeah, it's
I
fulfilling,
used to love just doing the Lord's work. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm gonna say maybe the generation of today, or maybe just the world of today, when they don't want to serve. Because I love to serve. I love doing the work of the Lord. I really do.
I do too.
It is. I think it gets hard when it's overwhelming, when nobody else wants to do it with you. Because it's when so much has to be done, and so much more needs to get done, and there's not enough people to do it.
Yeah.
To get it done.
Yeah.
I think that's where it gets hard.
It's also important for us, though, to remember that our labor doesn't go in vain, right?
Yeah.
He sees our labor, and He sees what we do, and our hearts for it. And so I I love that. I love to be able to serve, and I feel like he has answered my prayers because I remember many nights.
Now
Like,
you have too
Lord,
much fellowship.
it's fine. But I just remember many nights, just like, why don't I have sisters? And I just have a plethora of sisters, and I just love them, and I
I
just
know.
love being with
And
them.
they love
just,
you so much,
just love being
man.
around them, and it's a struggle though because it's when kids want to do sports and stuff like that, but I just tell the kids, we can't allow anything to take us away that from what we're supposed to be doing, and they understand, and they're very understanding about that. So I'm very thankful for that because they don't give me a hard time about it, because especially as a single parent, you can't be at all places at one time, but I know where I would rather be.
Yeah.
you know
No place I'd rather be.
no place I'd rather be.
Yeah. But you know what I love? You know what I love about the kids is that there's always something that they're doing too. And it's like even with like Jesse, he loves his Bible, he loves his sword, and he knows his word.
He does.
He knows his word. They both do.
Yeah.
And and then you have one that's in dance here, and they're getting so involved.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that if even as parents, if we get our children involved, then they'll never be bored.
Yeah.
They'll never be.
They're not bored.
So we have to be the ones to get them involved. We have to be the ones to constantly be like, hey, let's bring them along. Because if we leave them at home, if we cut the kids out, then how do we expect them to also have that same joy, that same excitement, that same everything, if we leave the kids at home and we cut them out of serving? We have to get them involved.
Well, because not only that, we don't want them to resent us for the time that we do spend in ministry.
Yeah.
And I do constantly tell them, like, because we're here a lot,
Yeah.
and I tell them, are you guys okay with us being there? Yeah, let's go. If one of them's sick, they're like, I'm better. So they love being here, but it's important though, because I don't want them to feel like I'm just here all the time. But then I also explain to them, like, we're gonna serve. Like the times we're living in, we're gonna stay close as possible to the Lord. So they understand it, and they know, and they've seen the changes, because they know what happened, with their dad and just the relationship. So they've seen a lot. So they're resilient too. They bounce back, and
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, is there a scripture that you wanna share?
Well, we were looking at First Peter.
Yep.
Right. First Peter, chapter 1, verse 7 says, so that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Christ, Jesus Christ.
Amen. And I love that, because we are going to be tested. We're going to go through so many trials. We're going to go through so many things, so many situations, circumstances. We're going to be tested through so many things in the world, and we're going to go through it. We're going to go through the things in life. But the thing is that we got to make sure that our faith remains the same. God is he remains the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, forevermore.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we just always keep our faith.
Well, not only that, just like in James chapter 1, it talks about counting it all joy.
Yes.
Right? So we also have to remember that in those trials, we have to be joyful and be thankful for those.
Yeah.
Because it's going to produce steadfastness. It's going to give us perseverance to go through those trials.
Yeah.
And not only that, we have to remember people are watching us.
Yeah.
They're watching us when we're going through these trials. They want to see if we're going to buckle or if we're going to, go against what we believe. So it's very important that we stay solid, firm, in our faith.
Well, isn't that what Joseph did when he was thrown into prison? What did he do?
Yeah.
He persevered, and he was joyful, and he was given favor even in the prisons, even through every circumstance that he went through. He counted it all joy. He was, man, I think that was just amazing, that no matter through what circumstance that he went through, he persevered through it all.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many stories in the Bible that
Over
and over, like
and
in
over.
Daniel, right?
Yeah.
We're in Daniel right now.
Yeah.
Without going ahead, but look at Daniel. Daniel was, prime example of his faith and it being tested, and
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
it's very important.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we got to do the same thing. Well, there's a few things that I wanted to share. I picked up this book in Texas, so I haven't even started it, but it was recommended by one of our board member, which is the vice president's wife, and Rhonda told me, "Have you ever read the Gray Skulls with a Chair?" And I'm like, "No," and she goes, "You're gonna want to read this book," and I'm like, "Well, what is it about?" She goes, "You know, when you're going through leadership, you're just gonna have to have a lot of grace." I'm like, "Okay." Um, and she goes, and sometimes it's really hard. She goes, "It's really hard because sometimes we gotta, you know, and this isn't just leadership. This is just being a Christian, just being a follower of Christ. Because a lot of the times, you know, people are going to hurt you. People are going to say things. People are going to, just being a follower of Christ is hard, just in general. And this isn't just talking about the people who are not saved. This is people even within the church,
It's true.
you know, that it's hard to serve. And sometimes she says, and sometimes it's easier to hide behind and under a rock sometimes. She's all, but she goes, "I want you to pick up this book and I want you to read it." She's all, because even as a pastor's wife, or even just as a person who's serving Christ, I wanted you to read this book and I want you to share it, you know. And I said, okay. And I haven't had a chance to read it, but Stu Johnson, who is one of the executive administrators at Grace International, wrote it. And and I remember I told him, "I'm going to read your book," and he's all like, "I'm glad you picked it up." So it's called The Gray Skulls with a Chair, A Journey in Leadership. Stu Johnson with Robert Mims wrote it. So I'm just going to say, if you know, you can find this as well on any of the platforms. There's so many platforms you can pick it up on, and read that. And guys, I got to give a shout out to our one and only Pastor Lydia.
That was an awesome book.
Gosh, guys, I remember when we went to when we literally went over there to Oakland, and I remember when she was standing in front of this place, and I took this picture. There was just something about her standing in front of here, and I had to take this picture. And at that moment, when I seen this picture, I said, "That's the picture." The Lord told me this was the picture, and this was it, guys. There was so much. There was something so intense about this picture, and I said, "This is it." And then I remember this picture when she was standing in front of this apartment building here, back here. She broke down. Remember that? She broke down and she could not even contain her tears because there was so much hardship that she went through
Memories.
in this place, of the memories that she went through as a young woman there. And it says, "They said you loved me, show me," by Lydia Bejarano. And guys, I'm going to encourage you to pick up this book. It is on all the platforms as well. And read this book. Women, I encourage you to read this book. Men too. She has a powerful, powerful testimony. So many years as a heroin addict, and now she is a counselor, for a drug and alcohol counselor, working at a as a director at a rehab, and just leading so many women to Christ, you know, and just doing so many wonderful things. And yeah, and we published it here, here through Paracletos Publishing. Look at our other books that are on there too. There's other, if you go to our website at www.housearrestchurch.com, you'll be able to see all the books that are being published there through, the website. And just look at the other books that are there. Another, gosh, I gotta tell you guys, Francine Rivers is an amazing woman. I encourage you guys to read Francine Rivers. She has another book called Redeeming Love, which is the story of Hosea and Gomer. And she writes amazing. I think I already read that book so many times, and it's as big as this, you guys. It's a really big book. It's a big read, but it's so good. And right now I'm still reading. I'm already a second time kind of going through this one. I already did the Audible once, and I'm going through it again. But it's called The Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. This is actually the lineage of Jesus. It's the 5 women of the lineage of Jesus. And it's an amazing book as well. But Francine Rivers, guys, she's a Christian author, and she takes stories from the Bible, and what she does is she makes them in a novel form, but it makes the women want to go in and dig deeper into the Bible. And she's just an amazing storyteller. But I encourage women, if you love to read, I encourage Francine Rivers. You can find her on Amazon, everywhere, but she is an amazing author as well. But I just wanted to share those. But I want to thank you for just, it's awesome. I'm glad that you came on with me, because I've been wanting to get you on here, but I think I want to get you on with me more even on Tuesdays. That would be awesome if you can just join me and stuff, because I think there's a lot of topics and stuff that I think women need to, that'd be really cool. Yeah. And I have another sister that's from the Bay Area from Salinas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I would really, Jen Magana, yeah, that I would really love to do something with her as well. But maybe we can do something with her. It'd be great.
Yep.
All right, so I think that's it.
it.
All right, Elson, say bye. Wait, we gotta stare that way, right? All right, stare. All right.
Just